All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Gonna pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. God bless, Brother Langford. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. When you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you. That you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The hour there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writing, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Amayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. So, shalom, Brother Marvin, man. We're going to still dealing with the same thing, but just a different title. And, of course, a little different add-on. So let's hit this Leviticus 25. Because we know from Proverbs 11 and 30 that the fruit of the righteous is as a tree of life. But we want to come back to the verse that we ended on. Well, not ended on per se, but we discussed a little bit in relation to the kingdom of Shamayim. And that's Leviticus 25 and 22. What's happening with your Tavon, man? What's happening with your said, man? You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna rock it like this. And you shall sow the 8th year and eat of old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come in. You shall eat of the old store. Now, of course, store is not there. So we want to discuss again, what does he mean, eat of the old? He say to the new fruit come in, you got to eat of the old. And I guess it's only going to be relevant just based off of something that we had a conversation with earlier. So when you look at old, the word is Yishan. Old, store, storage. Old, Yad, Shan, Noon. So we see how the right hand will pair you to everlasting life. Now, why is this important? Matthew 13 and 52 on general principle. Matthew 13 and 52 on general principle. Then said he unto them, therefore every scribe instructed unto the Malkuth of Shamahim is like unto a man that is a householder, which bring forth out of his treasure new and old. Well, let's look at treasure and let's look at new and old. I saw it getting better. That don't still hurt though. Just on general principle, for those who may not know what a scribe is here in the Greek, that is Grammat Yosei, a man learned in the Mosaic law and the sacred writings, an interpreter, a teacher, a recorder who has office, influence differed in different states, a public servant, a secretary or a scribe, or a religious teacher so instructed that from his learning and ability to teach advantage may redound to the kingdom of Elohim. So this is what it is. This is scribe. It's somebody you supposed to, if you teaching the word according to this here, you supposed to know it. See, we were talking with some people earlier today. Well, a lot of people, they don't know it. And it shows. Nevertheless, what is a householder? That is Oi Kados Potes, master of the house, householder. Pause. What does this mean when you're talking about a master of the house? Shalom, Jay. Let's come over here to 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1, man. Anybody who's a scribe is supposed to be as a man who is a head of a household. So what does that mean? 1 Timothy 3 and 1. Y'all know what it is. If I can get around that, we might get smacked. 1 Timothy 3 and 1. This a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire a good work. Now bear with me. I don't desire to be redundant, and I'm not finna spend an inordinate amount of time on things that I know that y'all already know. But this is just a direction we got to go. God bless Brother Smoke, man. What's good, Brother Nate? So listen, what is a bishop? That is someone who has oversight, overseership, office, the office of an elder, an overseer. What are you overseeing? You're overseeing the house. A bishop then must be blameless. Because we were having this conversation with people, man, this junk is ridiculous. Just in case, that's the only thing we focus on. What is it to be blameless? Not to be censured, irreproachable, not to be that which cannot be reprimanded or reprehended. So you have to make sure that if you're going to desire to be in that position, that you could keep your nose clean, that nobody would be able to speak any words of dishonor based off of conduct on your behalf, which is what I was trying to explain to these people earlier today, but they weren't going to catch it because it was funny to me. They were dealing with the law of Moses, the law of Christ, as if it's some great difference in it. You know what I'm talking about? And we all know it's all the same word. It's all the same word. One of the biggest problems I could tell from that conversation with many of those people is they were running straight to epistle letters. Now, they asked me a question, and I'm going to share this with you just because Stanley mentioned it, because we probably done talked about it before, and it may have hit your mind, and it may have not hit your mind. You know what I'm saying? But either way it goes, we'll stir up your minds by way of stir up your pure mind by way of remembrance right here, right now, at this particular moment in time. You know what I'm talking about? So they asked me, how would you preach the gospel? What do you think I told them? What passage did you think that I used to tell them this is how I'm gonna preach the gospel to you? Because I guess they were trying to ask, how would you win somebody's soul? I think, you think I'm finna go out and talk to somebody about not eating shrimp? That's what you think? Like, come on, man. I said, that's how I know y'all ain't out here talking to people for real, man, and the stuff people really got going on in real life. If you think somebody coming with the word, I'm finna talk to you about some shrimp, or you doing it. Look here, man. I used to be out there preaching the word amongst young niggas who were killers. I'm not talking about no doggone fantasy killers, because some of them boys who I used to preach the word to, they not alive no more. One of them caught a bullet to the head by the grace of God. He's still alive. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, man. I ain't talking about this other stuff. Boy, I was out there every day on the same corner that them boys were hustling on, preaching word to them, man. Stone cold young killers. Straight up and down. This is no exaggeration or nothing. And you think I'm sitting there talking to them about what they already know they live in foul. They already know that. But you have to be able to give them some type of hope that prayerfully, if you would see fit, that they might turn from opposing themselves. I'm not standing out there, you know you ought not to sell drugs. They already know that. They already know that. You ought not tote pistols. They already know that. Yeah, they were misunderstanding a lot too, Civic. What they didn't really know is they was agreeing with everything that I said. And you know you on a different level of stupid when you agreeing with somebody thinking that you disagreeing with them. You know what I'm talking about? When you saying the exact same thing that I just said. But this is what I told them. This is how we'll preach the gospel. Let me read it to you. Because, you know, for the majority of quote unquote 2023, I've been trying by the grace of Yahuwah to hammer this particular passage in your mind. You know what I'm talking about? It definitely insane, Brother Langford. In your mind. And what is it? Exodus 34:5. And Yahuwah descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah passed by before him and proclaimed Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin that were by no means clear, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the sons and upon the sons' sons. Shalom, Brother Marcus. Unto the third and to the fourth. Do you know these people say, how is that the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ? I say, if you couldn't hear the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord, man, then you got a problem. You got a serious problem. Now, remember, right, we were talking about in the aspect of eating the old fruit until the new fruit came, as regards to the tree of knowledge of good and evil versus the tree of life, is forth as being in Hamashiach's kingdom till the time to come in the Father's kingdom. But see, now we're going to come at it different. You dig? Now we're going to come at how you're going to eat of the old fruit until the new fruit come in. What is that old fruit? That's the law and the prophets. Until the new fruit came in, which is Mashiach, and then you're going to eat that. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of individuals, they can't really pick up on that. You know what I'm talking about? So when we coming back to verse 2 of 1 Timothy chapter 3. Shalom, Sister Miriam. It's good to see you. Now, I've known her for a long time. See, it's people like this I was trying to tell them. Like I said, there was a brother on there, and he said, man, I remember you being on YouTube on 2014, man. I used to be on the channel. I said, yeah, boy. He was on the channel that had my name on it. We ain't use it that long. Or he was on, he had to be, because I don't think we was using Jesus for True Freedom in 2014. You know what I'm talking about? And he was trying to tell him, like, hey, that man ain't on what you think he on. Yeah, they were missing the point of that we could see the new in the old. And we're going to get to a particular point because this was disturbing. And I want to put this on tape for people who come back later that prayerfully, if they have this, shalom, Brother Ellis, if they have this frame of mind, that they can develop a little more. Because these people told me that you did not need to have understanding in order to be saved. That is absolutely dangerous. That is absolutely dangerous. The word does not bear witness to any of that. There's absolutely no way that you can say you have the Ruach HaKodesh and you saved and you don't have no understanding. Understanding is that's how you know he wants you to be saved. If he ain't giving you no understanding, that's because he don't want you to be saved. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I've never really talked with Christians for that long a period of time. You know what I'm saying? Because I know when they hear that you say you were Israelite or this, then the third, they have a preconceived notion on what type of time you want. See, what they had a difficult time understanding is that we say we could keep the law and still esteem Hamashiach over the law and know that our justification comes through faith and not the law. But we're men, and men have a code of conduct in which they live by. That's just point blank period. See, they was keep talking to me. They say you kept saying I, because I'm like, I'm not going to sin. I said, does not the text say in Luke 9:23 to take up your stake daily and follow him and deny yourself? Did not Peter say, let this mind be in you, the same mind that is in Yahushua HaMashiach, that he that suffered in the flesh ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his time to the lust of the Gentiles and the will of men, but to Elohim? I understood what they were trying to say. It's the Holy Spirit in you that's doing it. I said, man, but the Lord ain't coming down here telling you to put your penis up if you about to commit adultery. The Lord not coming down here taking that cigarette out your mouth, or taking that blunt out your mouth, or taking them lies off your tongue. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't taking attention to your heart. You have to purge that, baby. And we got books for that. You got to cast that away. They'll tell you it's the Holy Spirit. They say, well, what if the Holy Spirit tell you not to do it? I said, you got to obey it, brother. It's still going to come down to the point. Do you love him? Do you take pleasure in fulfilling his will? You have to make the conscious decision to execute it. Do you remember what the Lord said in John chapter 6? This man said he didn't come to do his own will, but the will of him that sent him. That means that he made a conscious decision to surrender to something greater than him, and that he took more pleasure in fulfilling the will of his Father than to fulfilling the will of himself. That's a conscious decision. That's a conscious decision. See, a lot of us don't want to see people thinking you're not giving God the praise. I said, let me tell you something, man. If I told you I heard the word, believed the word, feared God, loved God, and then ceased from sin because of it, how is he not getting the glory? Everything of me doing it is based off of his word and his word alone. See, the problem come in at is that people want to, because they kept saying that nobody can't stop sinning. You can stop sinning. It's a choice. What is one of the fruits of the Ruach that relates to that? What's one of the fruits of the Ruach that relates to sinning is a choice and that you can cease? Which one of the fruits of the Ruach directly speaks to that? Indeed, Brother Langford. Amen. Now, one do speak to it, bro. It's one of the fruits of the Ruach that speak to what I'm talking about. That's it, Brother Nate. That's it, Stanley. That's it, Civic. That's it, Tabor. Self-control, temperance. So that means when the word come in, there you go, Nisha. When the word come in, it's allowing you to control yourself. What does the book say? Be ye angry, but what? Sin not. What does the book say? Don't anger rest in the bosom of fools. Wrath don't work the righteousness of Elohim. So that means it would have to come in. It has to be a level of self-control. But the word is what is constraining you because you believe the word. You fear Elohim. You love Elohim. So therefore, his word restricts your conduct. That's why I tell you, be careful out here fooling with sinners, because sinners ain't got nothing to restrict their conduct. A sinner free to do whatever they want to do. You can take that and feel how you want to feel about it. But that's the reality of the situation. How is that relates? Some of y'all had strict parents and some of you didn't, or had friends who didn't. You know what I'm talking about? And the rules and regulations that your parents had constrained you from doing what it is that you wanted to do. But you had friends whose parents didn't have no rules for them. So there was nothing to stop them from doing what they were doing. Same thing. Same thing. They don't have a father. So they have nothing to stop them. See, you won't commit murder because you respect your father. You won't commit adultery because you respect your father. You won't be strife-filled and contention-filled, full of emulation, strife, and wrath because you respect your father, because he said that's not going to go on in my house. And what house are we talking about? Your body. Your body. We're not going to allow that to win. No, we're not going to allow that to win. We're going to allow the fact that we see the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach and believe, and we will let faith have her perfect work. And through faith's perfect work, there has to be some patient endurance. You know what I'm talking about? In order for perfection to take fruit. Like we were talking about last week. Just because you put a seed in a woman's womb don't mean fruit of the womb come out the minute you drop the seed. It's a 9-month gestation period. There's a 9-month period according to the time of life that bring forth the fruit of the womb. So we know full well when the seed of the living Elohim word get in your heart that it's not going to produce the Ruach HaKodesh immediately. But over time, that has to be produced. Or as we seen in the parable of the fig tree, dung it, because it ain't worth nothing. It ain't produced no fruit. I wanted summer fruit, ain't no fruit on it. What I'm going to do with it? I don't want it. See, we don't like to hear that because that's harsh, because now we're going to have to be responsible for our service. What I tend to hear from a majority of people in the word is they don't want to be responsible for their service. I told them people today, as which I've told y'all for the last 12 years consistently, that I don't care what got to go. I don't care what lust I got. I don't care what family member. I don't care what friend. I don't care what places. If it's going to stop me from being with the living Elohim, it can go. Because no one and nothing on this earth is worth being separated from the source of life. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you again. If you don't have Yahuwah, what do you have? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Without Yahuwah, there is no life. Without Yahuwah, what's the purpose of getting up in the morning? What's the purpose of doing anything if you do not have him? And you think I'm finna get that up for a piece of booty? For a cigarette? For a lie? For strife? For envy? For jealousy? For covetousness? Absolutely not. I will purge that from me immediately, because that is not worth my soul. That's not worth my soul. That's not worth my soul. For some people, that may be worth your soul. That's right. And Brother Marvin just say, you're prisoners of Mashiach, we as bond servant, which we get into that in a minute. Praise God. But let's take a look at this 1 Timothy 3:2, man. Let me get to this point and get off this epistle letter. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. That means he got to be skilled. Got to be. It's a lot of dudes that say they pastors and they trash. They're absolutely trash. I'm talking about some of the worst teachings I've ever heard in my entire life. My whole life. And Jeremiah 3:15, he said he'll give you pastors according to his heart that will feed you with knowledge and understanding. And what I can perceive, these men can't be a Yahuwah's heart, because the stuff they teaching us is but absolutely sucks. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not saying that to big me up, because I ain't nobody. I'm saying that from a person who loved the hearing of the word. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care who preaching the word. If they're in line with the word and they preaching what the word say, I can rock with you. I can rock with you all day, every day. Ain't got no problem with it. So I'm going to read that to you in its totality. Jeremiah 3:15, I will give you pastors according to my heart, which I feed you with knowledge and understanding. These people ain't feeding us with nothing, man. What is knowledge and understanding? What does that mean that they supposed to be feeding us with? What did that mean, everybody? What's causing all this? That's what Ric Flair once said. What's causing all this? Now, again, when you're dealing with pastors, that's Ra'ah. So, of course, again, you're dealing with a shepherd, a ruler, a teacher. Again, someone who is an overseer. And he's feeding you with Dayah and Sakal. And what is Dayah? That's the knowledge of Elohim. So the pastor is supposed to be teaching you of Elohim. What is Sakal? So you can be wise. circumspect, understand, to be prudent, to give insight. What good is knowledge with no insight? And these people were telling me you ain't got to have no understanding. What is knowledge with no insight? That's just random information. That's just information for the sake of information. What's the good of going to the gym and working out if you don't have any insight on how to actually build muscle? You're just in the gym wasting your time. Just in the gym wasting your time. You may have knowledge on how to do a bench press, but you don't have any insight to how to build your chest. You may have knowledge to know how to do a squat, but you don't have any insight to grow your quads. You don't have any of that. So you'll be in the gym for 10 years and look exactly the same. You won't get stronger. You won't get leaner. You won't get more muscular. You'll just be somebody who's been going to the gym for 10 years, paying $30, $40, $50 a month for nothing. Because you had no idea why you were doing what you were doing. You had no understanding of the body. You had no understanding of musculature. You had no understanding of anything. How are you going to become better? So how do you expect to save your soul with no knowledge of godliness? No insight of the knowledge of godliness, I should say. Let's keep on going in this 1 Timothy 3. Verse 3, right? Not given to wine, nor striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that rule his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. All gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the house of Elohim? So that's what we coming in at when we dealing with that. That's what we're dealing with. To be an overseer. To be an overseer. Joanne, cut it out. Come on. Come on. Come on here. And somebody get it. I can't preach over that. Who else can you go at, man? Come over here to Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4:1 is fine. Why are you taking her back to the direction she's going to set off again? Hear, sons, the instruction of a father, and tend to no understanding. Look at the first thing he tell you to do. He tell you to attend to no understanding. Well, when you're dealing with attend, that is kasab, that is to hear, to be attentive, to incline your ears, to hearken, to pay attention, to listen, to give attention. First thing this man tell you is you need to give attention to banah, understanding, discernment, faculty. You need to pay attention to that. You need to pay attention to that. Listen to the next thing he say, for I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only in the sight of my mother. Well, let's look at, he say, I was tender and only. What is that only? You know what that only is. It's your kid. The only begotten son. So pause and think about that. When you hear him say, hear ye children, somebody talking and he say, I'm the only begotten. See, I mentioned that. I'm going there for a reason because we got something to look at with Adam. Y'all willing before we get off here. He taught me also and said unto me, let your heart retain my words, keep my commandments and live. See, pause. Now let's go to John 12:43. When we get to John 12:44, actually, not 43, 44. Amen, Brother Smoke. Listen, Yahushua cried, he that believe on me, believe not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that see me, see him that sent me. See, pause. We talked about that on Saturday. When you see him in his likeness in the image of his father, not as forth his physical resemblance, but the likeness of who he is. The Exodus 34:7, or 34 verses 5-7. You see the mercifulness, you see the graciousness, you see the abundance of goodness and truth, you see the long suffering, and you see the forgiveness. That's what it means to be conformed to his image and in his likeness. You resemble him through your actions. So that's when you have to pause and you have to ask yourself, do you resemble him in your actions? Can someone look at you and say they see God? See, why do I say that? Come over here to 1 Corinthians 14. 1 Corinthians, I want to say about 14 and 25, but I'll be able to tell once I get around it. And we'll come right back to John 12. Dang, that page ain't in this book. You can make it 22. 1 Corinthians 14 and 22. Listen to it. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. And therefore the whole assembly be come together into one place and speak with tongues, and there come in unlearned or unbelievers. Will they not say that you are mad? But if all prophesy and there come in one that believe not or unlearned, he is convinced of all, he is judged of all. And thus are the secrets of his heart made manifest, and falling down on face, he will worship Elohim and report that Elohim is in you of a truth. See, there has to come a point in time where somebody look at you and they can see that Elohim is in you. Not based off of you changing your name, not based off the clothes that you wear or the fringes that are hanging down at the bottom of your garment. But that when they see you, they can see the likeness and resemblance of the living Elohim based off of how you conduct yourself. Are you merciful? Are you gracious? Do you have long suffering? Are you abundant with faithfulness and goodness? Do you forgive? Do you possess those qualities? Because that is what Mashiach possessed. That's why he say, I came in my Father's name and they received me not. See, Bruce think that means he came in the name of Yahuwah, not Jehovah. See, I already know you simple. Because you thought that had to do with it. Why would he need to do that? They already knew his name. So, of course, some rules will tell you, Shem, fame, name, reputation. Well, what is the reputation of Yahuwah? Merciful, gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth. Think about that. It's who he is. I've been telling you this here. Amen, Brother Langford. I've been telling you this all year. And when I say all year, I'm talking about as forth as our calendar year. Because, it'd be a particular thing that y'all put in the brain that we focus on through the entirety of the year. And if it be Yahuwah will, Exodus 34, 5 through 7 might be the focus of the next calendar year also. Shalom, love. That I'm talking about, has to be hammered home. This is who this man is. We must become that. You know what I'm saying? We must become who he is. If we don't become who he is, how do we expect to be saved if we don't become who he is? That is who he is. When you read John and he say Elohim is love, it's because that is who he is. We have to become that. If we don't become that, then what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing if the objective is not to become as Elohim? The book told you, don't think it be robbery to make yourself equal with Elohim. That's what he desires. That's his will. See, you folks don't thinking you taking away something from him. You can't take from him what he giving to you. He giving you that ability. He wants you to have that ability. See, we don't look at it this way because, see, your daddy wasn't there. So you don't know what it's like to have a father say, bump starting from scratch, son. It ain't even about, yeah, I know I'm the father and I got rule and power, but I want you to be just like me, son. I want you to get money like I get money. I want you to move how I move. I want you to think how I think. I want you to see the world in a particular fashion because it's no threat to my greatness for you to be equal to me. See, most men, they insecure of having the men around them be equal to them. Yahuwah is not you. He don't got them insecurities that you possess. He already know he the father of all things. He already know that he created a heaven and earth. You ain't no threat to him. You know why? Because I gave you the... There's nothing you can do to him. So he's not... This is why most people who preach the word, they won't give anybody anything they got. because you threatened. Threatened for what? See, it was some goofy niggas who used to be around here all the time. Bro, I give you everything I got. But you felt like even though you weren't up to par, that you should still be able to do X, Y, Z. I think not, good sir. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Ain't no threat to me. Because I don't care what you do. When meaning that you preaching the word, it's not a threat to me. Because if no people, didn't this man Moses say when Yahushua son of Nun said they prophet in the camp, he said, envy for my sake, would there be the Elohim that all of his sons be prophets? Why wouldn't I want somebody to be blessed with the Ruach and go preach the word? That ain't no threat to me. That's to the esteem to Yahuwah. That means it's one more person that can hear the word and be saved, man. That's what that means. But see, most men, you're insecure. See, most men are insecure for one reason alone, because you don't know who you are as a man. So since you don't know who you are as a man, you don't have any level of security on how you move. You know what I'm talking about? Like this here, right? Take away what you do for a living. Take away your clothes. Take away what you drive. Take away all that, man. Who are you? Then you got people, when they come to Yahuwah, they don't know who they are in Yahuwah. So that's why they're not secure in their position. I know who I am. I'm just a preacher, man. That's it. No more, no less. I don't try to be no more than what I am, man, so I'm good. I don't look at another man and say he a threat to me. I know what he gave me to do, so I'm locked in what I'm on. So you can't be no threat to me, my nigga. At all. For what? I don't want to do what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. Because it's gay as hell, in my opinion, to be envious and jealous of another man. You might as well tuck your penis between your legs. Because you got some other stuff going on. What I want to be another man for? What I want to do what another man doing? I'm going to do what the Lord got for me to do. That's the only thing I need to be concerned with. That's the only thing I need to be concerned with. Because I know who I am in him. So what another man doing ain't got no bearing on me. You got to be secure in who you are and what you're doing. That way you can maximize what it is that you're doing. If you don't know who you are, you're going to tread water. You're going to make a cavalcade of mistakes because you're going to move off your feelings. And I done told you a lot of time, man, it's a lot of places for a man to be, and in his feelings ain't one of them. Not for no grown man. I ain't talking about you can't have no feelings. I say to be in your feelings. There's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference in having feelings and being in your feelings. Grown man ain't got no business in his feelings. Grown man in his feelings, he gonna make mistakes that could be detrimental to everyone around him, especially if you're gonna be a leader of a household. You can't be in your feelings. Can't be in your feelings. Now your whole household gonna be subject to your feelings, and a leader can't do that. That's why Saul got his whole family killed. That's why Saul got his whole family killed. He was in his feelings. That's why Achan got his whole family killed. He was in his feelings. That's how Korah got his whole family killed, and everybody who was with him, because they was in their feelings. You can't be a leader of men. You can't be a leader of women and children, and you in your feelings. Can't do it. Number one, the people subordinate to you will not respect you. Because I know the Lord told us, right? Of course, you're not above your brother. But people want to know the people who leading them, that they have a level of dexterity, spiritually and mentally and emotionally, that is a tad bit higher than theirs. So when they see that person acting and moving and behaving like them, it rattles their confidence in your ability to lead. It is what it is. You have to stop getting in your feelings. It's a double standard. It shouldn't be like that. Niggas been like that from the dawn of time. Deal with it. It is what it is, man. Stop crying about it and rise to the occasion. That's what the problem with a lot of men in this generation. You cry too goddamn much instead of standing up, manning up, and rising to the occasion. Just got to rise to the occasion, man. It is what it is, man. You were born a man. So if you're born a man, think like a man, move like a man, do what men are supposed to do. Stop crying all the time. Nobody want to hear that crap. Why I say I was going there? I don't even remember. Let's come back to John chapter 12. Verse 44 one more time. That Mexican drink is outstanding. Yahushua cried and said, he that believe on me, believe not on me, but on him that sent me. He that see me, see him that sent me, and I come a light into the world, and that whosoever believe on me should not abide in darkness. If any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that reject me and receive not my words have one that judge him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but Abba which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak thereof, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. So look at this here. Praise you, brother Mark. So when we come back to Proverbs 4, right? And we come back to verse 4, because he said, he taught me also, and said unto me, let your heart retain my words. Keep my commandments and live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of your mouth of my mouth. Forsake her not, she shall preserve you. Love her, she shall keep you. Now I want you to pause now, because a lot of people think wisdom is a woman. Man, that ain't no woman, man. That ain't no woman, man. That's and the reason why I'm focusing on that, not because of anything other than we have to make everything about gender. When you know 1 Corinthians chapter 1 to verse 30 say Hamashiach was made unto us wisdom. So wisdom ain't a woman, wisdom is God. Wisdom is the Lord. Wisdom don't come from a woman. Wisdom come from Elohim. What is wisdom? Is skill in war. What woman got skill in battle? What woman you ever seen skill in warfare? That ain't even being funny. I'm talking about the reality of life. What woman do you know that is skilled in warfare? When the book tell you that Yahuwah is a what? A man of war. So wouldn't he be wisdom to be able to give you the skill to know how to fight? Let's just take a look at that in Exodus 15, man. This ain't about no gender stuff. It's about not understanding. The book is about Yahuwah. It's not about, the man, the woman. That's goofy stuff. That's carnal stuff. You've been in the word too long to be on that type of time, man. We've been in the Lord word too long to be on that type of time. You have to grow spiritually and mentally to stop being so carnal to think about penis and vagina is for everything you see in the text on a man versus woman tip. That's carnal stuff. That's carnal stuff. You're going to miss the point. Ain't no father wisdom, ain't no mother wisdom. Wisdom come from Elohim. That's Yahuwah's wisdom. That's what it is. That's what it's always been. That's what it always will be. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna cut on. I don't be on none of that stuff. I ain't on no father time, no mother earth. All that stuff is idolatry, man. Father time is Chronos. That's the God of January the 1st, man. That's where the word chronograph come from on the watches that people wear, man. I ain't talking about no mother earth. That's Gaia. I ain't on that. I'm not saying that. Ain't no mother earth. Ain't no mother nature. It's all Yahuwah. If it's rain, it's Yahuwah. If it's snow, it's Yahuwah. If the plants grow, it's Yahuwah. If the plants die, it's Yahuwah. If the oceans flood the ground, that's Yahuwah. It's all Yahuwah. Ain't no goddamn mother nature. It's a blasphemous abomination before the seat and throne of the living Elohim. It's all Yahuwah. Give esteem to who is due. It ain't due to nobody but him. If Yahuwah say it ain't raining, ain't no rain coming out them clouds, man. Let that be known. If he tell the ground not to give her fruit, you gonna starve in famine because the ground ain't giving her fruit because Yahuwah gave the instruction and the ground gonna obey. Everybody obey Yahuwah. Everybody. He get a commandment and you follow it. By hook or crook, don't make no difference. Exodus 15, man. Verse 3, if you would. I'll make it one on general principle. Then sang Moses and the sons of Yasharal this song unto Yahuwah, and spake, saying, I will sing unto Yahuwah, for he have triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have he thrown into sea. Yahuwah, my strength and song, he has become my salvation. He, my Elohim, I will prepare him a habitation. My Abba's Elohim, I will exalt him. You see how he said, I prepare him a habitation? Have you prepared him a habitation? See, little bro had talking to me the other day because, people observe the Feast of Dedication. We don't. I don't care if you do. None of my business. But when you look at the word dedication, what is that word? That word means sanctification. Why are you re-sanctifying yourself every year? Why are you doing that? That's what we look at. I'm rededicating myself. Why are you re-sanctifying yourself? Why do you need to keep re-sanctifying yourself? He said, sanctify them by thy truth. Your word is truth. He said, I sanctified myself by the truth that they might be sanctified by the truth. He said, I set myself apart through faith, through faithfulness, so that you might be set apart through faithfulness. You need to be rededicated to faithfulness every year. That means you're unfaithful till dedication roll around. What we got going on? And I'm harping on that, not for disrespect. I'm over here to 2 Chronicles 7, by the way. I'm not harping on that for disrespect. I'm focusing on that mindset and mentality that we possess. Because execution is based off the mindset that you have. That's why he said, let this mind be in you. The same mind that was in Yahushua HaMashiach. It's always about getting the mind of Elohim. You can only get the mind of Elohim by making a new heart and a new spirit. That's the only way you can get it. If you keep thinking the same, you're going to keep getting the same. Man, I shared y'all that video, man, because Shannon Sharp said something real now. Number one, he said there's no balance when it comes to greatness, which it ain't. That's why he told us of the apostles, you got to forsake everything you got. If you're going to be great, it's a cost that come with that. You can't balance something and be great. You can't. There's no way. We can read the Matthew 19, what I'm referring to. I ain't talking about being good. I'm not talking about being satisfied. I'm talking about being great. Being great. I was originally taught that the Holy Spirit was wisdom and that the Spirit was feminine by a friend in GOCC. Oh, yeah, I mean, most people teach that, and I've heard them expound on that also. But we're going to deal with that in a second. You know what I'm saying? It's the mindset. We got to go to Ezekiel 18. I had to set the stage before we talking about eating of the old fruit till you get to the new fruit. So you got to eat of the old store until you can eat new fruit. And it'll give another understanding on what's in Matthew 11. Joanne, hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. But let me get something out there, Proverbs 4, man, before we slide out the way. Number one is to get wisdom. What is wisdom? It's kokma. See, they say it's a woman because it's a feminine noun. That is wisdom, skill in war, shrewdness, prudence. Now, we came over here to Exodus 15, right? I want to see this here in Exodus 15. I lost my page. That's what it was. He said, I want to prepare for him a habitation. What is habitation? This is Navad. That is to beautify, to adorn, to keep at home, to rest, to celebrate with praises, to keep at home, to prepare a habitation. It is noon, it is and it is hay. You understand? So now you've been secured to life when you prepare for him a habitation. You beautifully adorn yourself, you beautify yourself, or you stay at home. Now, when we come over here to 2 Chronicles 7 and 9, I want you to see something real quick, man. Hey, do not engage her. Do not entertain her. You're too old for that. Does this look like this playtime to you? Then it conducts yourself accordingly. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 4. Hush your mouth. How about that? Then the king and all the people offered sacrifices before Yahuwah. King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 20 and 2,000 oxen, 120,000 sheep. So the Malik and all the people dedicated the house of Elohim. What is dedicated? Dedicated in this particular instance is kanak. In this particular instance, it is to dedicate, to inaugurate, to train up, to dedicate. So this is to inaugurate the house or to make it, open it up if you would. Let's continue. The priests waited on their offices. The Levites offered with the instruments of music of Yahuwah. When David the king made praise to Yahuwah because his mercy forever. When David praised by their ministry, and the priests sounded trumpets before them, and all Yasharal stood. Moreover, Solomon hollowed the middle of the court, that before the house of Yahuwah, for there he offered burnt offerings and the fat of shalom offerings, because of the brazen altar which Solomon had made was not able to receive the burnt offerings and the meat offerings and the fat. And at the same time, Solomon kept the feast 7 days, and all Yasharal with him, a very great congregation, from the entering in of Hamath until the river of Egypt. And in the 8th day, they made a solemn assembly, for they kept the dedication of the altar 7 days and the feast 7 days. Well, what is the dedication of the altar in this particular instance? This is kan uk ka, dedication, consecration. What is consecration? That's sanctification. And it told you on the 23rd day of the 7th month, he sent the people away in their tents. So when you hear that right there, right? What feast have a solemn assembly attached to it? Because that's definitely not, because a lot of people will read that it's the feast of dedication. It was winter in John 10. And you think that's talking about Hanukkah, and it's not. It's not. Because you've seen they kept tabernacles here in 2 Chronicles 7 and called it the feast of dedication. You know what I'm talking about? But see, we don't even pay attention to the text, even pick up on that. Because you thinking they're talking about Maccabees and Solomon keeping the feast of dedication. In the same time the tabernacles is. Because the feast of dedication is for us in Maccabees don't have a solemn assembly to it. Your law tell you what feasts have a solemn assembly to it. And Hanukkah ain't one of them. I ain't mad at you to keep it. None of my business. Don't really care. But we can't turn around and say, oh, that's John 10. That's what that is. And you got one in the Chronicles of your Kings, and you just completely and utterly ignore it. And then you're turning around saying you steady dedicating yourself. Why are you steady consecrating yourself every year? Once you sanctify yourself, you should be sanctified once. You're re-sanctifying yourself because you actually didn't sanctify yourself the first time. You have to sanctify yourself the first time. And that's not what we're not doing because we're playing around. And why? Because we don't have the knowledge of Elohim. So therefore, you don't have no understanding. Because like I said, that was disturbing to hear these grown people say you don't have to have no understanding. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Come over here to 1 Corinthians 1 and 30 real quick, like. But of him are you and Mashiach Yahushua, who of Elohim is made unto us wisdom, righteousness, sanctification, redemption, that according as it is written, he that esteemed, let him esteem in Yahuwah. So Mashiach was always wisdom for you. That's skill. Now let's come back to Exodus 15. You beautify yourself by adorning yourself with what? With righteousness' sake. Or like it says in the Psalms, worship him in the beauty of Kadash. You know what I'm saying? Adorn yourself in the beauty of sanctification. Because it's a beautiful thing, if you would. And that goes back to what we were talking about the firstborn son coming through the matrix, being sanctified to Yahuwah and belonging to him. You understand? When you born of the word, you become the firstborn son to come through the matrix. Exodus 15 and 2. Yahuwah, my strength and song, he's become my salvation. He, my Elohim, I will prepare him a habitation. My father's Elohim, I will exalt him. Yahuwah, a man of war. Yahuwah, his name. What is war? Shalom, Brother Shaul. What is war? Of course, that's Milkamah. Literally, war. But don't you know you need wisdom to be able to go to war? Go to Proverbs 28 and 28 on general principle. Now remember, right? You got for man of war, that's Ish Milkamah. That's a man, a champion, a great man. This man is a champion of war. You understand? Literal war, literal battle, fight, a warrior. Well, what are we fighting for? You fighting for souls out here, man. That's what that Ephesians 6 go to talking about. But that's another conversation for another day. In order to win a war, you got to have wisdom. You know what I'm saying? As it once was said on this record, man, the strong rule the weak, but the wise rule strong. Because strong men don't think. Wise men think. They have skill, the ability to move, to know what to do and when to do it and why you doing it. It is the understanding. So to sit back and say you don't need no understanding is detrimental to your soul. You understand what I'm telling you? Job 28:28, man. How you even gonna know if it's the new fruit or the old fruit if you ain't got no understanding? You could be eating poison fruit. How many of y'all used to go out in the woods and your people tell you how to identify poison ivy and poison oak? If you ain't got no understanding, you're gonna be rolling around in the wrong leaves. Come back home itching. Job 28:28. And unto the man he said, behold, you know what? We could do it, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. Verse 12. Listen what he say. But where shall wisdom be found? Where the place of understanding? Paul, where is wisdom found? Where is the place of understanding? Where you going to find it at? Well, let's look and see what this man tells us. Man know not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. So wisdom and understanding was never found in the land of the living. Pause for a second, man. Come to Matthew 11. Let me get this Matthew 11 out the way right now. Let me get it out the way right now. Matthew chapter 11, man. Verse 7. Praise Yahuwah. We still on point with it. We still on point with it. Because she's falling behind you. It's not necessary. Wait for her to come up out of there. She's gonna open the door. And as they departed, this is Matthew 11:7, by the way. That's right, Brother Langford. Just hold on. We finna see it, and y'all willing, man, we going to make it do what it do. Give me 1 second, man. Prayerfully, some good understanding going to come out to play. As they departed, Yahushua began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what went you out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaking with the wind? But what you went for out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, there that were soft are in king's houses. But what went you for out to see? A prophet? I say unto you, more than a prophet. For this is of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before your face, and he which shall prepare a way for you. For those who don't know, he's referencing Malachi. He's referencing Malachi chapter 3. Now, why is this important in this Malachi chapter 3? I'm going to briefly just read the top part of it. He said, behold, I will send my messenger. This is verse 1, by the way. And he shall prepare before me, and the master whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahuwah of hosts. But who may abide in the day of his coming? Who shall stand when he appear? For he like a refiner's fire and a fuller's soap. See, this man coming to get you clean. And he coming to purge. And see, we're going to get to that purging because, you know, I mentioned something about you got to put that sin away. And in Ezekiel 18, going to speak on it. That you got to cast away them transgressions. Who are not casting away your transgressions? You have to make the decision to do it. You have to make the decision to do it. Like literally repenting and turning from sins, man, literal shoe, there's a conscious decision by the hearer of the word. You have to consciously decide to turn from sin before you even get the man's spirit. You got people who just think, they say they believe and they got the spirit. You a lie if you ever told one. You a lie if you ever told one. Just like Bruce think, I got the spirit because I keep the law. And you a lie if you ever told one. Because ain't nobody in this book ever got no spirit by keeping no law. You can't read it nowhere. From nobody. David didn't get it that way. Saul didn't get it that way. It didn't rest on Noah that way. It didn't rest on their prophet that way. I'm talking about before we get to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you can't find a single solitary person because they kept the man instructions. He put the spirit on them. That's not what happened with any of those men that you see that it rested on, not one time. What law did those 70 men who were prophesying in the camp did they keep for the spirit to rest on them? What law did Moses keep for the spirit to rest on him? He was getting it, yet the spirit was on him. So what law was he keeping? Do you understand that Yahushua, son of Nun, got elevated because he believed in Yahuwah and trusted in his salvation? Because he wasn't like the rest of them, murmuring and complaining and doubting that the man was going to do what he said he was going to do? That's what set him and Caleb apart. That's what set him and Caleb apart from them 600,000 men that came out of Egypt. And they were the only two that got in because they believed. Because they believed. The rest of the men didn't believe. They were running their mouth the whole time they was out there. It was funny to me, as that we were talking with them Christians, that they couldn't understand the fact of we telling them like, bro, we believe. That's why we do. Not we do because we believe. We believe, so we do. The just live by their faith. But we know we're not just with this man because I don't eat no pork chops. That's minor. That's the bare minimum. That's just like if you a man and you excited because your wife cooking clean, you a goofy. That's the bare minimum. That's your reasonable service. That ain't nothing to get excited about. She changed up my toothbrushes. Nigga, what? That excites you? You a poor excuse of a man. If you think that's a major service, I'm comparing that because that's how you sound when you say, oh, ain't no pork on my fork. I don't eat no sea roaches. Nigga, what? So what? That's the bare minimum, sir. You keep the Sabbath and don't eat pork. That's the bare minimum, sir. You're not even doing anything of any note. Nothing. That man say that the man of Elohim might be made perfect, thoroughly furnished under good works. You think good works is not eating pork? Come on, man. That's what you think? We in a sad state if that's what you think. Because that's your reason. That's the bare minimum, sir. That's the bare minimum. Keeping this man law is the bare minimum. That's the basic. You're supposed to do that anyway. You thought you were supposed to get rubbed on your back and patted on your head and exalted for doing what you're supposed to do? That's like saying you take care of your children. What ain't your children? Who else supposed to take care of? Like straight up. That's how we move out here, man. You want to get applauded for doing what you're supposed to do. That's like a kid saying, I clean my room. You're supposed to clean your room. It's your room, ain't it? Why you living in filth? And you think I'm supposed to jump up and down and praise you for doing what you're supposed to do? That's what you're supposed to do. But as I told y'all a couple of weeks before, man, that wasn't y'all. It was in the clubhouse. We get so accustomed to people that are cool with mediocrity. You know what I'm talking about? That you feel like mediocrity should be validated and celebrated. That regular behavior should be validated and celebrated. I'm not praising you because you don't eat no pork and you don't cheat on your wife, bro. Or you don't cheat on your husband. Or you don't lie. Or you don't worship idols. I'm not praising you for that. Praise you for what? That's what you're supposed to do. Oh, I won't steal. So what? You ain't supposed to steal. What are you talking about? I'm supposed to be like, yeah, that's a good man. He don't steal. You don't steal, but you got a heart full of envy and jealousy. So what is that? But you don't steal, though. You're burning in your lust, man, every single solitary day. But I don't worship idols, though. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And in this present day and time, we think we're supposed to be justified for doing what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. That's just like I brought good grades home. You should have brought good grades because success should have been important to you. That's why I tell you, don't do nothing for other people. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Do it because you want to extract greatness for yourself. Don't go build a physique to attract women. That's goofy stuff. Build a physique because you want to challenge yourself to be better than what you were the day before. Don't go out here to get money to impress women or prove niggas wrong or this, that, and the third. Man, go get money because there's a particular life that you want to live and you know you have to put in the time, sacrifices, dedication, and commitment in order to produce it. Not to do that for validation and acceptance from other people. Don't serve Yahuwah so you can say, hey, look, everybody look at you. Look at him. He's a godly man. Do it because serving Yahuwah is what brings delight to your soul. It brings pleasure to your heart. Do it for him. No, that's the problem. You do all the stuff. You do everything for the wrong reason. That's why you're not excelling. Because you worry about other people and what they going to say and what they going to think. What if this person don't care about what you do? Now what? Now you're going to be destroyed. Man, she didn't tell me my biceps look good. That's what you get for building biceps for, goofy. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get. You put your mind in the wrong place, man. That's why he say don't do it unto men. He say do it as unto the Lord. Everything you do, don't do it unto men. Do it for Yahuwah. We were talking with a brother the other day. That's what dudes get all upset. Don't nobody support my ministry or this, that, and the third. Because you wasn't doing it for Yahuwah. If you were doing it for Yahuwah, you wouldn't care how many people listened. You wouldn't care who donated. You wouldn't care who gave up. Or you wouldn't care. You'll preach to the trees. You'll preach to the wall. It wouldn't matter. Matthew 11 and 11. You're standing good and tall now. You got them wrapped up in there. Keep them safe from the baby. Truly I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there rise not greater. Have not risen or greater than Yachanan the Immerser. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the Malkuth for Shamahim is greater than he. And from the days of Yachanan the Immerser until now, the Malkuth for Shamahim suffer violence, and the violent take it by force. And for all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. So what did this mean? That all the law and the prophets prophesied until John. Well, it takes us back to what we want to get into in Leviticus 25 and 22. And what is that in Leviticus 25 and 22? You shall sow the 8th year and eat of old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come in, eat of the old. So until John the Baptist came, you were eating of the old fruit until the new fruit came. You know what I'm talking about? Because everybody before John was talking about the law and the prophets. John was preparing the way for the Lord whom you seek, like he said in Malachi. John wasn't preaching law and prophets. Nobody else preached until he came. Nobody else preached what he. Nobody. See, let's take a look at John chapter 1. See, that was the old fruit. See, John was coming in to let you know, hey, boy, Jubilee coming. That Sabbath rest coming, and you know that Jubilee is tied in with atonement for the reconciliation, for your salvation. You know what I'm talking about? But look at John 1, man. What, verse 19? Get out. Get out. John 1 and 19. This is the record of Yachanan, when the Yahudim sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who are you? He confessed and denied not, but confessed, I'm not the Hamashiach. And they said unto them, what then? Are you Elijah? He said unto him, I am not. Are you that prophet? That's referring to Deuteronomy 18. He answered, no. Then they said unto him, who are you, that we may give an answer to them that sent us? What say you of yourself? He said, I, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of Yahuwah, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, why you immerse you then, if you be not that Hamashiach, nor Elijah, neither that prophet? Yachanan answered and said, I immerse with water, but there stand among you whom you know not. He it is who coming after me is preferred before me, whose shoe latchet I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bathbara beyond Jordan, where Yachanan was immersing. The next day, Yachanan see Yahushua coming unto him and say, behold, the Lamb of Elohim, which take away the sins of the world. This is he of whom I said, after me come a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me. And it's amazing how people argue about did the man pre-exist or not. And John telling you, John is older than Yahushua, and he said he came before him. How can the younger cousin be before you? Remember, how was John the Baptist born? What was one of the key elements of John the Baptist's birth? Does anybody know? Let me swing back over here to Proverbs 4, because that's all I needed out of that. Does anybody know the key component of John the Baptist's birth? What made his birth different from other people? Does anybody know what made John the Baptist's birth different from other people? Going once? Going twice? Anybody? Anybody want to take a crack at it? Well, what made his birth? Hold on, we got somebody. That's right. He was born with the Ruach HaKadosh. So him being born with the Ruach HaKadosh, he was at the same level that them unclean spirits were at by knowing exactly who Yahusha was. You understand what I'm saying? Remember what them unclean spirits said when they seen him? They said, we know who you are. You the son of Elohim. See, with Yachanan the Immerser being born with the Ruach HaKadosh, he knew who the man was. Not knowing who he was just by looking at him, but knowing who he was as the scripture have said. You know what I'm talking about? See, this is one of the key elements I see a lot of bruising Christians seem to forget, is that those people during that time already knew the word. Like some people say, why didn't Christ teach to keep the Sabbath? Why would he have to teach it? They already knew it. You really think this man's going to walk around and teach some people about some stuff they already knew? How stupid are you? Why would he be walking around here? Y'all better keep the Passover. They already know that. They already know that. That's why people kill me with that. Well, why didn't he say this and why didn't he say that? Why would he have to? The audience who he was talking to already had that information. They didn't have the information that the text was bearing witness to him. They didn't have the information that Elohim was going to manifest in the flesh and be justified in the Ruach and seen in Malachim and receive back to esteem in order to redeem mankind. They didn't know that. As I was telling the people earlier today, they didn't know that the apostles didn't even know that the book said he would resurrect from the dead. They didn't even know the scripture spoke of that. They didn't know that. You not realize when the people was reading stuff in that book, man, that they didn't know what they were looking at? They didn't know what none of that stuff meant. That they were waiting for that stuff to come to pass. They had no idea. Man, the book tell you that Malachim didn't even know. They didn't even know. But yet we think we smarter than people who grew up hearing the word from the day they were born, whether they kept it or not. You done heard the word for 5-7 years and I'm a scholar. Sit your stupid behind down somewhere and get some goddamn common sense. What's wrong with you? And we just be cool with that stuff. Like, yeah, that's the move, but that's not the move. People dying out here, man. I didn't tell you the other day, man. I literally rolled up maybe 3 to 5 minutes after a man got his whole chest blown out. You know what I'm talking about? I'm coming down Sesame, man. Think I'm finna go back to this job where we scrapping all these ACs, man, and the police and the ambulance and the fire trucks just whizzing right by, man. They coming off blocking the road. And I already know when they came to blocking that road, boy, that police tape was coming next. And when I had to make my next trash run and I came back down there, I seen that police tape, I'm already know somebody dead over there. I could already tell how they were coming, somebody been shot. You know what I'm talking about? Now that man gone. And I doubt sincerely that he had any word before he left here, based off the situation and circumstances, how they describe why he. Now, this man's soul is out of here, and he got to answer Yahuwah in the state that his soul left here. And we out here playing games. Now, where your soul going to be at if you leave here tonight? While you be talking about this and talking about that, if you took your last breath tonight, is you going to wake up in peace when you look this man eye to eye? That's what you need to be concerned about. That's what you need to be concerned about while we around here playing games. Boy, if this man require your soul tonight, will it be found in peace? Is your name written in heaven? Will your works testify of the fruits of righteousness through this man, Ruach? That's the question we got to ask. Bump all this other stuff everybody talking about. Because see me, I don't give a damn how much you know or how much you think you know. Do you live right? Do you trust this man? Have you sanctified yourself? Because if you ain't did that, what is you ain't got no business talking. That's like a broke nigga sitting around talking. You ain't got no business talking. You ain't got no money. You need to go to work. You need to do something. How's you hanging out and your pockets on empty? Well, how is you hanging out and your soul is on empty? Because you ain't been filled with the Ruach. You ain't got no time to be around here skinning and grinning. You ain't got no time to be around here playing. You in perilous danger. You in danger that if your soul is required, it will be required in hell. What that nigga said on New Jack City, idolater. Your soul is required in hell. That's what's going to happen if you leave here out of pocket. But don't nobody want to tell us that. Because everybody want to make us feel good, whether Hebrew or Christian. They want to make us feel good about how we live and whether it's contrary or not. How can you feel good knowing you separated from life? How can you feel good? How can you walk around genuinely happy and smiling and you separated from life? Because that's what sin do to us. That's what unbelief do to us. But ain't nobody telling us that. They got to walk around here like it's all gravy. There's a gift of life looking us square in the face. Square in the face. He like, here, man, I got it for you. Come get it. And we like, nah, I don't want it. I don't want it. Maybe I'll come get it later. What if later never comes? See, we live life like tomorrow gonna come. Who told you? Man, my homeboy just sent me a video. Our homeboy, y'all have mercy on this old little E-man whooping, man. And that video was taken, I want to say, a week before he died. You know what I'm saying? He been dead 2 years this month. I'm talking about I grew up with this man from age 10. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about in the backseat of the police car. They done searched me already. I ain't had no work on me. He got the work on him. I say, pass me the work. Because they'd already searched me. They ain't going to search me again. I'm talking about that's how tight we is. That's how close we is. This is my nigga in real life. And that man was gone, bro. I literally talked to that man maybe 2-3 days before he died. Gone. You know what I'm talking about? And his soul got to meet Yahuwah in the state he left here in. And we say we got the word and we out here playing like we know we gonna see tomorrow. Who told you that? Man, I've been preaching for 12 years and I don't never live like I know I'm gonna see tomorrow. I'd be happy just to be in the day that I'm in. But who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow? Because I sure don't. You got in your mind what's gonna happen tomorrow, but you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And we have to stop being complacent. Remember, the book tell you that don't boast on tomorrow. Don't boast on tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow gonna bring. New world order. I don't care about nothing. I don't care what them sinners do. Where your soul at if they come kill you? Who care what they doing? Why are we so worried about what sinners doing instead of souls getting saved, man? Why we care so much? I don't care what them people doing. You ain't finna stop it no way. They doing what they supposed to be doing so Yahuwah can knock their whole head off their shoulders. So let them get killed. You can't stop it. Why you want to stop the people from getting they want? You really think the people going to pull off their aims? They can't do nothing that Yahuwah don't allow. The point is, we don't even be calling these people out because they sinners. You just feel like that's just some good stuff to talk about. Yeah, man, the Illuminati. Who cares about the Illuminati? We talk more about them people than you do Yahuwah. Man, screw them people. You know the reason why I say that? Because if you wouldn't see them people face to face, you wouldn't call them out for their sin. You'll call them out for their sin from the safety of your internet, from the safety of your Facebook account, from the safety of your Instagram account. But most of y'all ain't got the heart to look them square in the eyes and say, repent or die. Like John the Baptist told that man, it's not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. Most of y'all not going to look them people in the eye and tell them the truth. So if you ain't going to look them in the eyes and tell it to them, what you on the internet talking about it for? Come on back to Proverbs 4, man. You got to remember, man, the Lord walked up on the people and told them what it was. Eyeball to eyeball, baby. You can smell my cologne. Tonight it's not with this parfums, XO brandy. That's how you can move. If you're going to talk about it, make sure them people can smell your cologne, man. I mean, you'll walk up on them, man, look them in the whites of the eyes and tell them Yahuwah reigned from one end of the earth to the other. And that your works are a disgrace and an abomination before God. Repent and be saved. Then you ain't going to be do that, man. Keep that junk to yourself, man. Nobody want to hear that junk, man. Nobody want to hear that junk, man. It's the Illuminati, New World Order, Mason conspiracy junk, but that junk old, bro. Preach the gospel, man. You know what I'm talking about? Preach the righteousness. That is, but that's a different. But see, we talking about they what they call the New World Order. Like some people say, Albert Pike says it's going to be a World War III and a New World Order going to come. Who you believe, Albert Pike or Yahuwah? Give a damn what Albert Pike say. Who is Albert Pike? Dead in the ground. No, I know what you mean. I'm talking about the difference. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, we get caught up in that. They got pyramids everywhere. So what? So what? Who cares? Care nothing about them people. People don't put no fear in my heart. That just be pissing me off, man. You know what I'm saying? Be pissing me off. Because we get so focused on things that don't matter, that the things that do matter get neglected. And that's why the people suffering. Look at the Proverbs 4, man. Verse 6, right? The man say, forsake her not, and she shall preserve you. You know what it means to be preserved, man? Not like preserved like jelly. You like preserves? You like strawberry preserves, don't you? The baby do. But the baby like everything. Oh, now you don't. I don't know who you think you're talking to. You definitely need to take you back to build the baby. When you do that preserve you, that Samara is going to keep you. It's going to guard you. It's going to watch over you. Wisdom is going to be able to keep you. Same thing when they say understanding will be able to keep you, which is Nasar, to watch over you, to keep you. They say wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom. And with all you're getting, get understanding. Let's return back to Job 28. When you're dealing with the principal thing, wisdom is the first thing. You need to have skill first. If you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got wisdom, you ain't got nothing. You need to have this. You got to know how to fight. You got to know how to fight. My man's just posted something about that. He said, man, if you was to get in a physical combat with your hands, how well would you fare? Most men are not prepared for physical combat. And that's okay. That doesn't make you less than a man, because contrary to popular belief, it's better to be trained for physical combat. You just don't come out. Some men have some natural ability, but at the end of the day, most women especially just believe all men just know how to fight because they're a man. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how to fight is a skill. Somebody got to teach you how to do that. You know what I'm talking about? Unless you just grew up fighting, and then you learning that skill through experience. If you've been in enough fights, you're gonna learn it through experience, or you're gonna get beat up every day. I say that because most people don't live a life where they were in physical combat every day of their life. Unless you grew up in like a gang neighborhood or something and you had to fight. Most men ain't growing up every day throwing no hands. And y'all know that too. We act like we don't know this is real. How many of y'all just grew up fighting every minute, every second of the day? He said, at this point, all I want is the gospel. That Illuminati talk, I feel you, bro. I've been off that. But I also have to say, I was on that in the 90s. So there's that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I wasn't fighting every day. Did we get in some scuffles from time to time? Sure, but I wasn't fighting every day. That wasn't my life. And we didn't grow up in that type of neighborhood where people were fighting every day. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Where your neighborhood's like, hey, boy, walking home from school, boy, you probably going to have to bump. You know what I'm saying? Somebody around there gonna teach you get your skills right. Well, it's the same thing with the word, man. Somebody got to teach you get your skills right so you can go out here and know how to fight. Fight the flesh, fight sinners, fight the adversary. You know what I'm saying? Now she want to be public enemy. She want to fight the power. I hope you ain't trying to be Flavor Flav. Oh no. Job 28, right? Verse 13, right? He say, man know not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. Listen. Of course, we didn't talk about this before. You can't buy the rule. You can't buy wisdom, and you can't buy understanding. So I was talking with a brother about that. He was like, buy the truth and sell it not. And I ain't even get to say, bro, that's not like telling you to go to somebody and buy the word from them. You know what I'm saying? As I was telling them brothers on this one here, now I understand where some brothers be coming from, because they were talking about this particular. I'm like, yeah, you read in the book when Saul was finna go holler at Samuel, they came and brought gifts to give to that man. You know what I'm saying? See, we live in a different time that you feel like, screw the man of God. See, and I know why you feel that way. You know why? Because we just seen the clip with T.D. Jakes. He addressed it to me. I'm not going to talk about a lie when I have a chance to sit in this pulpit and preach the truth. I say, you know what? That was smooth. I don't know if you wrote that. You know what I'm talking about? But whoever wrote that, they was on their toes. But me and Johnny Gozer, when he was talking about that junk on Threads, but that man was shaking. That man was nervous. Now, why he was nervous, I don't know. But I can understand why he was nervous. Is, let's say he didn't do nothing. You know what type of accusation that is? And you got to come in front of millions of people and tell them that you're not a homosexual. Your wife and kids standing up there. And I'm just saying this because sometimes you forget that these are still people. Now, him being nervous and shaking is not necessarily a sign of guilt. You know what I'm talking about? Because we don't even sit back and think, but that's a real person, bro. Imagine if this man ain't a homosexual, man, and you got to stand in front of the whole world and address somebody saying you a power bottom. Addressing it without addressing it. Because if you don't address it, people going to say you a sissy. If you do address it, they going to say, well, he got to be a sissy because why did he address it? So it's a lose-lose situation for him. You know what I'm talking about? If you just talking about get your feelings out to play if you believe he a false prophet or not, just look at that. That's a man. That's a lose-lose situation for him. Now your wife and kids standing behind you, man. Your grandchildren in here. You got 20, 30,000 people standing in front of you, and some of them might think you like a hot dog in your bun. You got millions of people watching you online and on TV, and they thinking, boy, you like to be dominated by a man. How would you react to that? Yeah, see, we don't think about stuff like that, man. And this is not to affirm or to deny that he was doing it, because I don't know what he was doing. I wasn't there. Because you know why? Because I wouldn't be nowhere with two men having sex. I can tell you that right now. That's not the place for me. You know what I'm talking about? If two men having sex, I need to ask myself, why is you there? Now, you could say as a preacher, why you hanging out with Puffy? See, that's why he said don't even give the appearance of evil. Because see, if he was sanctified, then he wouldn't be around there with them, and that accusation couldn't even been made. You know what I'm saying? That accusation couldn't even been made. Because you can't be a friend of the world and not be an enemy of Elohim. Now, if you wanted to hit him with that, you could hit him with that. Because if you hanging with Puff, you a friend of the world, baby. That's a sinner. I don't care if he go to your church or not. See, that's why he say don't give the appearance of evil. Don't even be caught up in something where somebody couldn't accuse you of something like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you hanging with a dude who like booty hole, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get accused of liking booty hole too. Whether you were doing it or not. Because you ain't had no business having your black behind around now. Because I can tell you this here. I bet you the Lord wouldn't be at nowhere at any. I know you smoke crack. That man not going where they going. See, y'all think it seem real. It make you seem relatable. See, I'm not way up here. You supposed to be way up there. What's wrong with you? See, you supposed to be way up there as forth as being set apart, not an attitude and looking down on people. You know what I'm talking about? Like that Luke 16 or that Luke 18 when he said, I'm not like this publican. I fast and do this. See, that's looking down on somebody. See, we're not talking about that. You can be above them, but yet not look down on them. I can't come down to what you're doing. But I can still look at you with compassion and mercy. I don't look at you like, oh, this filthy sinner. No. I tell you, man, I was preaching the word around killers and drug dealers every day and get respect from all these men. Because they knew how I was living, and they knew what I wasn't going to do, and they knew what I wasn't going to participate in. And they respected it because I stood on that. I never looked them in the eyes and told them to do something that I wasn't doing myself. And it wasn't something that I just was telling them. They observed it. They knew I wasn't doing it. So when I spoke to them, they respected what I had to say. Because they know at least bro ain't around here faking. That's all you can do is just stand on what it is that you say you believe, man, and let Yahuwah do the rest. And let you, hey, she got that glass bottle. And let Yahuwah do the rest. Let me finish this Job 28, man, so we can get off of here for the evening, man. Because my man's want to get on this stream yard, man. I want to kick it with him for a little bit. I got to get her early in the morning, if the Lord permit. Listen, right? Verse 14, Job 28. The depths say, it's not in me. The sea say, it's not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold. Neither silver shall be weighed, the price thereof. It cannot be valued with gold of Ophir, with the precious onyx of sapphire. The gold and crystal cannot equal it. The exchange of it for jewels of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or of pearls, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. Let's look at price. See, you can't buy wisdom. Can't do it. Yes. How may I help you? You don't want nothing. You just trying to hide from your mama. See, look what you're doing. No, that ain't for you. I don't care. Yeah, you already absconded with my hat while I wasn't here. That's what you did. When you look at price, right, it's Makur, Mean, Kot, and Raj. And that is the price, the higher, the reward, the gain. Yes. I know it. You want the mo? Now, when you got price in verse 18, it's Meshech, and that's drawing up a trail, securing or acquiring that which is precious. So wisdom is precious above natural things. You know what I'm talking about? There's nothing that you can give in exchange for it. Yahuwah got to give it to you. Pick my hat up, please. Covering your face is not going to change the fact that you need to pick my hat up off the floor. Ma'am. Pick my hat up, please. I have no time for your shenanigans. Verse 19, Job 28. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. This is why the dude got rebuked by Peter in Acts chapter 8, if I'm not mistaken, by thinking that he could purchase the Ruach HaKodesh. Whence then come wisdom? Where's the place of understanding? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all living and kept close from the fowls of the air. Destruction and death say we have heard of the fame thereof with our ears. For those of you who don't know, y'all willing, maybe on the Shabbat, we can get that in more detail. That is an example of when Peter said, and he's preached to the spirits in prison. See, that's what I was trying to tell them people. You read some of these epistle letters and you don't even know why they're there. You don't even know where it comes from. Because that's what they kept saying. You don't need to have understanding. That man on the cross believed right then and there. I say, you don't know what word that man knew before he got up there on that stake. You made an assumption that he had never heard word. You made that assumption. It never said this man ain't heard no word. Never. It may have took him being on that stake for the word he heard for him to believe when he seen what was happening to the man. You don't know if he heard word or not. You assumed he didn't. Don't you know that man was going around preaching for 3.5 years? You don't think these people didn't know who that man was? Everybody knew who he was. He was being provocative. He was getting the people going. They had never seen or heard nobody like him. Remember what the man up there said? He said, this man we in condemnation, and rightfully so. This man ain't did nothing wrong. How did this man know this man ain't did nothing wrong if he ain't know who he was and he ain't know no word and what he had going on? That ain't clicking your brain. How would this man say, oh, he ain't did nothing wrong? He heard something. See, what you seen the difference was there was a man up there who didn't believe, and it was a man up there who did. You know what I'm talking about? He said, oh yeah, he got to be the one. This nigga here, man. Good God Almighty. But that's another conversation y'all willing for the Shabbat, I would say. Elohim understand the way thereof and know the place thereof. For he looked to the ends of the earth and see under the whole Shamahim to make the weight for the winds. He weighed the waters by measure. And when he made a decree for the rain and a way for the lightning of the thunder, then did he see it and declare it, prepared it, yea, and searched it out. That man say he declared it and prepared it. Then he searched it out. You know what that is when you're talking about declare it? That's safar. That's to recount, to relate, to number, to take account of, to declare. Where do you think he declared it and searched it out? He declared it, prepared it, and searched it out. Prepared it as kum. That means he made it firm. He established it. He arranged it. Searched it out. Joanne, hush. It's, of course, kakar, and that's the search, to examine, to investigate. Where you think he did that at? Well, let me show you where he did it at. Luke 24 and 44. You see how we get to that point where you'll eat the old fruit until the new is ready? See, when he resurrected from the dead, that's when the new fruit was on the scene for you, baby. Yeah, man, praise the Lord. That when that new fruit was ready. See, John the Baptist came in to get you ready. You were going to eat of the old fruit, like it said in Leviticus 22, until the new fruit came in the 9th year, baby. See, when that man hit that grave and came back 3 days later, that new fruit was ready. You could put that old fruit to the side. We don't need that no more. Luke 24 and 44. I need to get Ezekiel 18 before we slide out of here too. And he said unto them, these the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Then he opened their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. You know, the men ain't had no understanding of the book till he sat down and did that. Now, why this man gonna make sure they understand the scriptures, then somebody tell you understanding is not important? When Romans 1 say, if you without understanding, you worthy of death. You're worthy of death. That's crazy. Job 28:28. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that wisdom, to depart from evil, understanding. And we're going to deal with that. If we talking about old store and new store, and it's still dealing with how the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, because this is what departing from evil and fearing Yahuwah, this should produce. But let's take a look at something in Ezekiel 18, man. I need to eat my food. It's probably good. It's good and cold. Ain't no problem in it. It's been a long day, man. Last couple of days, I think I done burnt about 6,200 calories, and that is right on time. Right. Today we had 3,023. 3,023, and yesterday was 3,293. And about 2,400 of them was active calories. Can't get no better than that. Ezekiel 18. Ezekiel 18 and 30. Therefore, I will judge you, O house of Yasharal, everyone according to his way, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Repent and turn from all your transgressions, so iniquity shall not be your ruin. Well, let's just see what that means. Let's be clear. Number one, let's talk about what is it to repent. What does that mean? That again, it's the word I mentioned to you earlier, shub. It's to return. It's to turn back. To turn away. To turn back from evil, which we know we've seen that's understanding. So there has to be some insight and cause you to want to turn away from sin. He say turn from, keep you from doing. It would guard you. It would preserve you. That's what the skill is going to do. Now, he told you to cast away from you all your transgressions where you have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new ruach. For why will you die, O house of Yasharal? And what is cast away? It is shalah. That is to throw it. to cast it down, to cast it forth. So you have to do that. He's not doing that for you. You have to hear the word, turn from it. And I'm not talking about turning from the word. I'm talking about turning from your transgressions. And then you can cast those things. You'll cast those things away so it does not destroy you or be a stumbling block for you. Because a lot of, man, as they say in Hebrews 12, the weight that easily beset us, it's a lot of things that cause you to stumble so that you can't execute in the way that you would execute. You know what I'm saying? I told you before, say there's no balance for greatness. Like when you look at the word, man, in order, like they tell you, man, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But one thing I learned about the word is that the more I applied it, the more success I had in it. See, when you do something, you have success in it, that's what causes you to keep going. Because you see the success, you see the fruit or the benefit of what you're doing. A lot of people don't stay in the word because they don't see the benefit of what they're doing. And that's basically majority of the time because the people who teaching them are trash. So they're not getting the information needed to actually apply it to see success. Because any of you who've heard the word on here and you applied it, like he said, man, if the doctrine be mine, any man will know if he do his will or not, if the doctrine is mine or whether I speak of myself. Because if you do the doctrine of Mashiach yourself and you begin to see the success and the benefit from doing it, then you know us of God, and that should motivate you to continue doing so because you see success. See, if you don't see success in something, you don't be motivated to keep doing it. But most of the time, you don't see success because you didn't even try. You didn't apply yourself. You didn't commit yourself. You didn't discipline yourself. You weren't willing to make the sacrifices necessary because you weren't willing to do what was necessary in order to be great. I've talked about it plenty of times. He said, he shall be called great and be called the Son of the Highest. And what manner of love hath the Abba bestowed upon us that we should be called the sons of Elohim. So if he has bestowed this honor upon us that we should be called the sons of Elohim, then we would be great in the Son of Elohim, will we not? So that means you would need to be willing to do the same work that he was willing to do in order to be great. To make the same sacrifices that he was willing to make in order to be great. To have the same discipline commitment that he had in order to be great with the same consistent application. I told you before many times, man, people don't like consistency because it's boring. Because you got to do the same thing every day. Every day, same thing. Every day, same thing. Every day, same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people don't want to bodybuild. Them boys eat grilled chicken with broccoli and rice every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. You know why? It allows them to have the body fat percentage they want to have and build the muscle they want to have in order to achieve the goal that they wanted to achieve. You know what I'm saying? So you want the hot tamales and french fries and cookies and cakes, but you want the physique to go along with it, but you're not willing to commit to the level of discipline it takes to achieve that. So you want the kingdom of heaven, and you want the great name in heaven, and you want the riches that come from Elohim, but you're not willing to do what's necessary to get it. You got to be willing to do what's necessary to get it. But y'all willing, man. Hallelujah for Yahusha. I bless y'all, the house of Elohim, in the name of Yahusha, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Yahuwah willing, man. We'll be back at it on the Shabbat, and we'll continue down the road that we're walking down, which is how the eating of the old will bring forth of the new once the new arrives. You know what I'm talking about? But we also have to go through more because we ain't talked about it in a while. Of course, the redemption that's in Jubilee for the freedom that we all seek, desire, and cherish, I will hope. But y'all willing, man, we'll be back at it on the Shabbat, man. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, we're gonna keep on rolling, man. That junk just threw me when people are like, you don't gotta have no understanding. That's dangerous. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir, Zo. That's dangerous. In anything you do in life, you need to have some level of understanding. That man said there's no searching of his understanding. Yes, sir, brother Smoke. Yeah, man, you gotta look at that, man. That's serious. That's serious. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple people unsubscribed lately. I don't be giving a damn. You know why? Because I ain't here to say what you want to hear. And I ain't here to tell you what you feel like I should tell you. I'm going to tell you what the man put in my mind to tell you. And I'm going to put his work on the street. And you can do what you want to with it. You know what I'm talking about? But in all things, Yahuwah going to be esteemed every single solitary time. And if it allows one person to draw closer, that they faith and hope and be in Elohim, oh, then it will work. Because see, one thing I know, you ain't finna save everybody. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't finna do that. And I definitely am not finna comport myself to become who people want me to become to satiate and satisfy them. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not finna do it. Amen, Brother Smoke. I'm not finna do it. I'm not finna be who you want me to be, because then I wouldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely not. Some people say, it ain't about you, it's about God. I'm preaching the word. So it's always about Yahuwah. But you still a human being. You got to be yourself. Like I told you earlier, man, as a man, I implore each one of you brothers, man, each and every one of you. I praise Yahuwah, brother, man. I encourage each and every one of you men to know who you are as a man and be secure in yourself as a man, and to know who you are in the word and be secure in that. I say, man, everybody ain't gonna be no preacher. That don't make you lesser. That's that goofy new age stuff that people feel like everybody got to be the minister and this, that, there, and the third, man. Know your role and be secure in that role and execute that role to the best of your Yah-given ability is forth to bring praise and esteem to him, because that's what it's about. Nobody's job is greater than the other. And it come a time period that everybody should know that at this point in time, how long more people done been in the word, you should know that. But don't nobody want, it's just like what Bill Belichick teach, man. Do your job. Stop worrying about his job and do your job. Because while you trying to do his job and your job, you're not going to do your job effectively. Because you're trying to do somebody else's job instead of doing your job. Now this man done hit the A gap because you trying to do somebody else's job. Just do your job. But you can't do your job if you don't know who you are in him. Just like he told Peter, man, say, what if I tell him to occupy till I come? What that got to do with you? Go feed my sheep. What I got him for to do is what I got for him to do. And what I got for you to do is what I got for you to do. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Be secure in who you are as a man. Know who you are as a man. If you don't know who you are as a man, real talk, man, you need to have some serious retrospection, some serious introspection, a whole lot of prayer, a good amount of fasting. You know what I'm talking about? I'm being dead serious. I'm not being funny or nothing. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit back and look, because when you know who you are as a man, nothing anyone says or does can sway you, because you know who you are. You're confident in who you are. Then when it comes to who you is in Yahuwah, then you see who you are in him, and then you can execute that with perfection according to his grace and mercy, flawlessly, because you know who you are and you're confident in that. Like David said, man, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my Elohim than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. If it was your job just to guard the door, then you're going to be like, well, I'm going to be the greatest doorkeeper Yahuwah ever made, because that's my role. I'm securing it and I'm executing. It's that simple, man. Amen, Brother Marcus, man. Prayer, thank you, Yahuwah, man. You be safe out here too, bro. Yeah, man, it's just that simple, bro. Just like what Paul said, how could everybody got a song? Everybody got a doctrine? Everybody got a revelation? Everybody? This is what we got going on? Come on, man. It's not benefiting the people. Is it about you, or is it about benefiting the body of believers that they can draw closer to their God? What is it about? You know what I mean? Just wait and consider, man. You know, you can take it and do what you want to with it. But brothers, though, I mean that sincerely, man. If you don't know who you are, man, find out. You know what I'm saying? You might need to separate yourself from people from time to time throughout the course of the day to find. And it's okay. It doesn't make you less of a man if you reached your 20s and you reached your 30s and you don't know who you are. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because everything you went through is to help develop who you are. You just ain't came to the realization of who you are yet. It's okay. Some people find out who they are younger, and some people find it out later. The issue is not when you find it out, but that you find it out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't so you can't get caught up on what you went through to get you to this point. Was I ain't never sat back and thought about what I didn't know. I didn't know it. So clearly it wasn't meant for me to know at that time in my life. Because I probably wouldn't have known what to do with the information to begin with. It probably would have destroyed me, or it would have meant nothing to me, and I wouldn't have used it properly or used it at all. So it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Can't cry over spilled milk, baby. The milk already spilled. You know what I'm saying? Get the mop and clean it up. You know what I'm saying? can't miss what you never had. You never had it, so how can you miss it? But once you get it, you know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't overcomplicate your life, man. Don't beat yourself up about what, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that to yourself. It is what it is, baby. You learn what you're supposed to learn when you're supposed to learn it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just use it right when you get it. That's right, brother. There ain't no shame in bettering yourself, man. You ain't got to look down on yourself, man. Everybody's experiences is different, man. Everybody who raised you and who surrounded you is different. It don't make you lesser because somebody was raised in an environment and they got information and you didn't. Your people could only instruct you at the level of instruction that they had. But look at it this way. Yahuwah could have let you stay at a certain level of instruction, but instead he chose for you to get better. So thank Yahuwah. Because you could have stayed the way you were. But he didn't do that to you. You see, you got to change your perspective, man. You change your perspective on how you see things that'll help change your mindset. You know what I mean? No, but hey, man, it is what it is. Let me go and get up off here, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Again, bless y'all, love y'all. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Yahuwah willing, man. We'll be back at it like a crack addict at about 8 p.m. if the Lord permit on Friday. Yes, how may I help you? You huffing and puffing, scruffing and buffing.